The Madden video game franchise features the story of two brothers, Joel and Benji Madden, as they come to form a pop-punk band years after their father abandoned them in their childhood. Wait a minute, that's not right. The Madden video game series features the story of Steve Madden and his rise to prominence in the American fashion world. God damn it, this isn't right either! Where have you been getting this information from? The information on the note cards you've been giving me. What the fuck do you mean you don't know? Terribly sorry about that, y'all. My producer was handing me note cards that didn't have the correct information on them, so I fired his ass. And I decided to hire myself as my own producer, because apparently if you want to get things done right, you gotta just do it yourself. Anyways, I want to tackle a subject that I've been absolutely hyper-fixating on lately. And no, it is not the history of Madden games. There's at least 5 other videos on YouTube that covers that, I'm sure, so just go watch those first if you're not familiar with what the Madden games are. But pretty please promise you'll come back to this video when you're done. Today I'm going over inaccurate fields in the Madden video games. Specifically, I want to start with the Gen 6 of Madden games today, and I'll talk more about why I'm starting there in a sec, but first let me explain a little bit more about what exactly it is that I'm going to be covering today. So if you're anything like me and you've got a little bit of the tism in you, then I'm sure you've also stumbled across this phenomenon where you're playing the latest Madden game, which in this year's case it's Madden 26, and you happen to be playing a game at the Cleveland Browns Stadium, and you're like, yeah, whatever, this is the Cleveland Browns Stadium, it's got an elf at midfield, who cares? And then later that week, you're watching football highlights on social media and you notice a highlight featuring the Cleveland Browns playing a home game, and you notice that there's not an elf logo at midfield like there is in the game. It's the fucking orange helmet that's at midfield. So you immediately fire up Madden 26 because you're starting to question your sanity and if you just hallucinated an elf at midfield. But oh nope, sure enough, there's the fucking elf. Anyways, this discrepancy between the Browns' real-life field and the most current up-to-date video game adaptation of their field triggers some PTSD in you, and you remember that this isn't the only time you've noticed this before. Are you anything like that? Or is it just me? Nope, I guess just me. Anyways, as previously stated, I am just going over the 6th gen Madden games, specifically Madden 01 for the PS2 up to Madden 05. And then I'll do a separate video on 7th gen Madden, so that would include Madden 06 up to Madden 13 for the Xbox 360. Now, yes, I'm aware that there are Madden games that predate Madden 01, but I want to start with 6th gen, mostly because of ease of access that I have to these games and also their popularity, but also because to fact check myself on what the real life NFL fields looked like in the given year that we're working with, I'm going to be referring to this website called Gridiron Database, which has tracked NFL teams' uniforms, logos, fields, etc. over the years. And while it has a good chunk of pre-2000s fields, there's still quite a bit of teams that are missing from that database. So I think starting at the beginning of the century for now is a good starting point, which evidently enough is the first one to come out on 6th gen, Madden 01, which came out in the year 2000. I will also be referring to whatever footage I can find from a home game for the team in question if I can find anything. Again, that might be something a little hard to come by, so I might just be sticking with whatever Gridiron Database has. All right, you got all that? Hopefully, because I'm not repeating myself. Let's get into it.
Yeah, man, 2001. We ballin' way harder than you, and I'm gon' prove it. Set up your best defense, I'm running through it. Yo, check out the play-by-play with John Madden. Exhibit with EA Sports, we can't smash it. Listen, it's all in the game. Let me explain, bring in the pain. Even set it off in the rain, set it off in the snow. 4th down, 1 yard to go. Running your own franchise or watch from the sidelines. I'm here for one thing, to smash the other team, breaking you down. Everything you pass is out of bounds or incomplete. We are professional athletes, making you stumble and fumble. Your offense in deep trouble. Yeah, in that veil, feeling the power. The only thing you hitting is the ground in the showers. A playbook full of techniques. I'm playing for keeps. Mouthpiece, put on your pads and tie your cleats. Yeah, man, 2001.
All right, first of all, banger intro. Whoever greenlit a Madden game to get its own song written and own intro, man, I hope they got a raise or something. Anyways, first up, we've got the Arizona Cardinals. Now, as you can see in game here, we've got the Cardinal logo at midfield. And if we take a look at Gridiron Database, yep, sure enough, they did utilize a field with the logo at midfield. I know at the time that they were sharing Sun Devil Stadium with Arizona State. They like to go with the no logo at midfield for most of the season, but here we see the 2000 Arizona Cardinals did utilize a logo at midfield at some point. However, as we can see in the screenshot from Gridiron Database, the Arizona end zone was on the right and the Cardinals end zone on the left if we're looking from the broadcast side of the field. And Madden 01 has those end zones flipped. We've got Arizona on the left, Cardinals on the right. So maybe a little bit nitpicky here, but we are looking for some somewhat complete accuracy here. So that is one inaccurate field for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, this is another nitpicky selection because the field featured in Madden 01 is accurate to the 1999 Ravens field. And this is going to be a very common theme throughout this series where a field might be inaccurate to the season that the Madden came out in, but is accurate to the previous season. And I'm assuming that's just because EA wasn't given an updated field designed by the team in question, but still, come on. Anyway, so as we can see here, this field has the NFL Shield logo at midfield and the Raven logo in the end zone, whereas the real life 2000s Ravens field was, I believe, the first to feature the iconic Baltimore, Maryland flag shield logo, whatever it is, at midfield, and featured Raven spelled out along with the Raven logo and the year 2000 underneath it. How about that? That's a nice little touch that they added. So Ravens, you are on the board with an inaccurate field in a Madden video game. I'm terribly sorry, Ravens fans. A very common trend we're going to see throughout this video. The Bengals field design here is accurate to the previous season's field as opposed to the current season's field. As you can see by Madden 01 here, they're still rocking the 1990s look where it's got the helmet logo at midfield and then the Cincinnati and Bengals end zones with the Bengal stripes. Very classic, very iconic from, I believe, theirs was Riverfront Stadium, I want to say. Pretty sure it was Riverfront Stadium. Anyways, this was the first year that they played at Paul Brown Stadium, and with that came an updated end zone look with just Bengal stripes in the end zone. Still got that Bengal helmet at midfield though, but again, EA didn't get the updated field design, I'm assuming. So Bengals, this is still an inaccurate field for you guys. Terribly sorry, Bengals fans, but you are on the list now. The Cleveland Browns field in Madden 01 is very, very close to being accurate to what the field actually looked like in 2000. So, as you can see by this screenshot, it looks like that the end zones just said Browns. There wasn't an NFL Shield logo that we can see is in Madden 01 here. We also see that the 25-yard line features the NFL Shield logo with a little 2000 rectangle thingy with it there as well. That Madden 01 did not feature. So again, really close to being accurate to what the actual field looked like. So I'm very tempted to not consider this one, but as I said earlier in the video, we're looking for some somewhat complete accuracy. So maybe just a half point. I'll think about that. Maybe just a half point for the Browns for Madden 01. All right, this is a fun one. So the New York Jets in 1999 featured their logo at midfield as opposed to the NFL Shield logo, which they would use up until like 2 years ago, I want to say. And 2000 was the first year they featured that Shield logo, but Madden 01 has that Jets logo instead, as well as the old Meadowlands logo at the 35, as you can see here by the Gridiron Database screenshots. That Meadowlands logo was updated. So old field design, another example of EA not getting an updated field design in time to be featured in the game. But honestly, I do like the Jets logo at midfield as opposed to the NFL Shield. But unfortunately, Jets, you are on the list now. Another fun one here. We've got the San Francisco 49ers. As you can see in Madden 01 here, they've got the painted end zones. But if we take a look at 2000, it does not appear that they utilized a painted end zone throughout that season. They just had the regular grass end zone. So I do like this painted end zone, though. I think it's a really cool, really stands out. So I do like what Madden 01 features, but again, looking for some somewhat complete accuracy here. So gonna put San Francisco on this list.
Game time begins, taking tackle the challenge. Crash, cause, collision. Head to head battle with 11 opposing components. Batted up, adrenaline rush, ready to get it. On the line of scrimmage, you make the call. This is the game of football. EA Sports. It's in the game, doing it play by play. Moving forward with the aim. First play, you may choose your star running back. Second in yards, you try the same and get sacked. Oh, third down, what to do now? It seems you're only inches away from a touchdown. No matter what happens, the choice is on you. This is John Madden 2002. No matter what happens, the choice is on you. This is John Madden 2002.
Madden 02 hitting us with another banger intro. I think I speak for everyone when I say that those old Mads just had personality to them that you don't see these days. So Madden 02 is going to continue the trend of having the Arizona Cardinals end zones flipped with this field layout featuring the Cardinal logo at midfield. Nothing has changed here since Madden 01, as you can see in the screenshot taken from Gridiron Database. Nothing changed in real life with the Cardinals field design. So Arizona is starting off the Madden 02 inaccurate field list for us. And in another example of EA not updating a team's field look from Madden 01, we've got the Baltimore Ravens. Again, in Madden 02, they've got the Ravens logo in the end zone, and the 2001 real life field featured a very similar end zone design from the previous year, except this one has the year 2001 in the end zone as opposed to 2000, obviously. So the Ravens fall victim yet again to the inaccurate fields in Madden list. Now, the Bengals have an interesting discrepancy in their field that's featured in Madden 02. So, as we can see here, the end zones have the updated Bengal stripes designed to them. However, it's the 2000 end zone design. The 2001 real life field had orange Bengal stripes with a black outline, and Madden 02 has the 2000 black stripes with orange outlines. So, EA didn't get the memo. I'm assuming that the end zones were going to take on a slightly new look. And even though this is a slight discrepancy, unfortunately, I will be putting the Bengals on the Madden 02 inaccurate fields list. And this is truly an oddball one because the Madden 02 field for Cleveland is accurate to the 2000 season. Now, the 2001 season featured an NFL shield after the Browns text in the end zone. Now, if I pull back up my footage from Madden 01, you'll notice that Madden 01's field is actually accurate to what the 2001 real life season's field looked like. So very strange here that EA kind of predicted the future in a way and got these fields flipped. To review, Madden 01's field was actually accurate to the 2001 season and not the 2000 season, and Madden 02's field was actually accurate to the 2000 season and not the 2001 season. I don't know how we can put the blame on the Browns, but that does sound like some classic Cleveland Browns bullshit if I've ever heard it. And you know what? How about we go 4 for AFC North teams? Uh, Rounding out the Madden 02 list is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, it appears that the Steelers field design in Madden 02 is accurate to their 2000 season. If we take a look at the screenshot here from the 2001 season, it shows that the Steelers used both a no logo look as well as a logo at midfield look throughout the season, with some slight changes to the end zones from the previous season. The 2001 season saw the Steelers replace that Steelers helmet logo in the end zone with an AFC logo. So the Steelers are the newest addition to falling victim to EA not getting an updated field look for the latest Madden video game. I do feel kind of bad including examples of these since they are accurate to the previous season's field design. and especially since games released during this generation didn't have the luxury of receiving updates. You just got, whatever was on the disc. But I am sticking to my guns and calling out any discrepancies I see. So unfortunately, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, your team is making this list now.
EA Sports, you're in again.
No. Try again.
EA Sports, it's in again.
Gong. Thanks for playing.
EA Sports, it's in again.
Ding ding. That'll do. Madden NFL 2003.
That is the best intro yet. So let's get the Madden 03 party started. And once again, EA just could not get the Ravens field correct. I have no idea why they kept doing this. But again, Madden 03, we see the same end zones that we've seen in the previous two Maddens. And if we take a look at the real life fields that the Ravens featured in the 2002 season, we see that they did update the end zones a little bit. It's the same concept, though, of Raven logo and the Ravens word marker, but this go around, they primarily did not have the end zones painted for most of the season and also did not feature the year underneath the Ravens word marker. Will Madden 04 be the one to get it right for the Ravens? Maybe. There's only one way to find out, though, but until then, let's move on to the next team. And that next team is the Bengals. I'm starting to think EA had some kind of beef with the AFC North or something with how often these AFC North fields are getting incorrect. But the Bengals in 2002 had a different field in that they featured the helmet logo at the 35-yard lines as opposed to midfield. And we see here in Madden 03, they've got the helmet logo at midfield as it had been the last several seasons for the Bengals. And let's keep that EA AFC North beef rolling here, as the Browns field in Madden 03 is accurate to what the previous season's field looked like, if you remember from earlier. And let's take a look at what their field actually looked like in 2002. And yep, once again, the end zones don't feature the NFL shield, but in-game does have that shield. I guess the Browns just wanted to alternate those end zones from year to year at this time, but looks like they did feature an orange painted end zone at the end of the season, so shout outs to them for switching it up. But alas, the Browns are also going 3 for 3 in this series so far. And we've got newcomers to this series. Let's welcome the Detroit Lions. 2002 was the first year that the Lions played at Ford Field, and I guess EA did not get any update from the team or something in time because the field featured in Madden 03 is the same as what it looked like at the Silverdome in previous years. And it looks like with the new stadium, the Lions did in fact update the field look. They went away with the helmet logo, and the end zones just had the Lions word mark. It's very interesting here seeing the Silverdome field featured at Ford Field in this game. I will give EA points for that at least because, that's something that hasn't been seen in real life. But because of that, the Lions are on the Madden 03 Inaccurate Fields board. 2002 saw the introduction of the Houston Texans, and it appears that EA had to guesstimate what their field was going to look like because Madden 03 has a different end zone look for the Texans than what was featured in real life. As we see here in Madden 03, the end zones say both Houston and Texans, with Houston being above Texans and in a smaller font. And this is straight up a Mandela effect because I could have sworn that they did use an end zone very similar to this with this exact word mark look in real life. But I went through Gridiron Database and it looks like they straight up never did. But I did play a lot of Madden 02 growing up, and Madden 02 did have the Texans in that game and had the same end zones. So maybe it's just that I was remembering. But regardless, the real life end zones for the Texans just featured the Texans word mark and did not feature their logo or the Houston word mark at all. So the Texans in their first official season did not feature an accurate field in Madden 03. The Pittsburgh Steelers featured a no logo at midfield look with painted yellow end zones in Madden 03, but it appears the real life field for the Steelers also had a no logo midfield, but it looks like the word mark in the end zones were highlighted. Uh, that's the best way I can describe it because it's just a rectangle over the text. And I don't personally remember this end zone because it appears this was the only year that they featured this end zone design. So just to double check, I did look up a Steelers home game from that year, and sure enough, as you see in this clip here, freeze frame please. Yep, that word mark looks highlighted An interesting design choice. I haven't seen that before, but anyways, that's a discrepancy from the real life counterpart. It is accurate to the previous season's field look, but the Steelers are again victims to an inaccuracy in a Madden field. And back to back years, Madden went 0 for 4 for the AFC North teams. All right, so that is it for Madden 03. Let's move on to a popular entry in the Madden franchise with.
EA Sports, it's in the game.
Madden NFL 2004.
We are starting off the Madden 04 inaccurate fields list with arguably the most popular team Madden players played as in Madden 04 because of Michael Vick, and that is the Atlanta Falcons. Now, this was the first season of many that featured their updated Falcon logo at midfield with updated end zones. And Madden 04 gets those end zones close here. We see they are painted black, but of course, as we know, the end zones weren't painted at all, and this field layout stayed constant until they updated their uniforms a couple of seasons ago. I do like the black painted end zones, though. I do wish they would have done that IRL, but unfortunately, it wasn't featured IRL, at least not in the 2003 season. So, Falcons, welcome to the club of having an inaccurate field in Madden. Okay, Ravens fans, look away here because while the Ravens did get some justice in this iteration of Madden, of at least updating the end zones from just the Raven logo, Madden 04 has the end zones painted black, which was, of course, accurate for the last few seasons, but unfortunately, because the Ravens can't catch a break with Madden games, the 2003 season saw the end zones were not painted at all. So, although this layout is very close to the real life counterparts, I still got to put the Ravens on this list. And listen, Ravens fans, I'm really rooting for you here. I'm really hoping you guys can catch a break in Madden 05. And we've got another newcomer to the list here with the Buffalo Bills. Now, the 2003 season saw a revamped, updated field design in the Buffalo camp. And unfortunately, EA didn't get that memo, as they still have the field layout that Ralph Wilson Stadium saw for the last decade, maybe. I feel like the Bills had this layout for quite some time, but nonetheless, 2003 saw some new uniforms, and with it came the updated field look of just the Bills logo at midfield with non painted end zones and the Bills' updated word mark. Now, Gridiron Database does not have any fields for the 2003 Chicago Bears, so I used as many home game clips as I could find for the Bears as a reference, and it does appear that what Madden 04 has is inaccurate. Now, this was the first season for the Bears post Soldier Field renovations, and in 2002, the Bears had to play the whole season at the University of Illinois Stadium, which was featured in Madden 03. I'll put up a little clip here. Yeah, take a look at that. That's neat that they were able to feature the Illinois field in that one. My guess here of why Madden 04 has some inaccuracies is because EA probably just had to guess on what the updated field would look like, and unfortunately they got it wrong, and that's why I'm calling them out here on this video. Now, as we've seen in the footage I captured from Madden, the end zones here feature the Bears word mark in blue and the alternate Bears logo. Now, I'll pull up a clip from a home game from that season against the Packers. Let me show you the west end zone first. All right, here we see the end zone features the word mark for Chicago in orange. And instead of the alternate logo, we've got the NFL shield and what appears to be the NFC logo as well. Now, I did not get footage of that side of the end zone, so you'll just have to take my word for it here. I promise to you guys that I am not lying. It does feature the NFC logo on the other side. And now let me pull up footage for the east end zone here. And it appears that that one has the Bears word mark also in orange, and the end zone also has the NFL shield on one side and the NFC logo on the other. So a strange decision by EA that they went with a blue for the Bears word mark in the end zone. I honestly don't know if the Bears had featured anything similar before. But nonetheless, this is a vast difference in what was featured in real life in the 2003 season. But for the longest time, it's been that orange word mark that we saw in the real life footage that I showed. And the Bengals are again on the list for another year as well, as this field layout in Madden 04 resembles that of the previous seasons, but 2003 was the first to see that badass leaping Bengal midfield logo. I fucking love that midfield logo. And EA missed the memo here as they've got the plain midfield with the Bengals helmet logo at the 35-yard lines and the Bengals stripe end zones. And the end zones also got an updated look for the 2003 season. So Bengals fans in '03 had to wait to see their team get an updated look in a Madden video game, unfortunately. And to no surprise here, we also welcome back the Cleveland Browns to this list, as EA just could not stay ahead with the Browns end zones. We see the rest of the field is accurate. They've even got the orange stripes at midfield and the 20-yard lines, and I'm pretty sure the last couple Maddens also featured those as well. I just haven't pointed them out yet. But 2003 saw updated end zones. The East end zone had those Browns Bulldogs at the ends, and the West end zone has an alternate Browns logo at the ends. So Browns fans have also got to wait another year in hopes of getting an accurate field depiction in a Madden video game, unfortunately. And I've got to include this nitpicky pick to this list, but the 2003 season saw the Cowboys remove the Texas Stadium logo at the top and bottom of midfield, and Madden 04 still has those logos in the game. The rest of the Texas Stadium looks accurate, but since the Texas Stadium logo takes up a good chunk of real estate, I felt it was enough to be included. So, welcome to the club of inaccurate Madden fields, Dallas Cowboys. Houston returns in back to back seasons, although this go around is accurate to what was seen. The previous season's IRL field, 2003, did not feature painted end zones at NRG Stadium, though, and that's what we get in Madden 04 for the Texans. I will say I do like a painted end zone look more than just the plain turf or grass colored end zone. I feel like I've brought this up several times, but I'm looking for accuracy here in this series, as you all know, so Houston gets to remain on the list. And another first comer to this series is up next. We've got my hometown team, the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, 2003 saw a subtle change in the Chiefs' end zone look. They replaced the NFL Shield logo with that primary arrowhead logo, and we unfortunately do not see that updated here in Madden 04. It's still got that NFL Shield in both end zones. So, my fellow Chiefs fans, our team is now part of the inaccurate fields in Madden list. And let's go up perfect 4 for 4 in AFC North teams again. Why not? The Pittsburgh Steelers had a new field look in '03 that saw no painted end zones or highlighted text in the end zones. The Pittsburgh and Steeler word mark was the only thing featured on the field at all, actually, as the Steelers once again went with a no logo at midfield look for this season. And unfortunately, Madden 04 just got it all incorrect. I mean, we see the midfield logos here. We got painted yellow end zones. I will say, though, I do like Madden 04's rendition of Heinz Field here a lot more than what they went with that season. But still, I've got to add the Steelers to this list. And rounding out the Madden 04 inaccurates list. Man, Madden 04 had quite a bit of inaccuracies. We've got another first timer, the St. Louis Rams. 2003 saw the first season that the Ram logo was featured at midfield as opposed to the Rams helmet logo. And Madden 04 still has that helmet logo at midfield. Rest of the field looks accurate. Just that one detail about midfield. But that's enough for the Rams to make this list for the first time. All right, that does it for Madden 04. Let's move on to the final Madden game I'll be featuring in this video, and the last that was exclusive to the 6th gen consoles.
Takeo Spikes, linebacker, Buffalo Bills. If it's in the game, it's in the game.
Madden NFL 2005.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Spikes. You are absolutely correct with that statement. All right, I want to start off the Madden 05 portion of the video by giving a big congratulations to the Baltimore Ravens fans here. The Ravens will not be going 5 for 5 in this video with inaccurate fields, as the EA team got it right finally. I'm going to throw y'all a bone, though. I do see that the midfield and 20-yard lines have a purple stripe on them in 2004 IRL field, and I do not see that here in Madden 05. But you know what? Since the rest of the field is accurate, the midfield logo, the end zones, I'm saying it's good enough to consider this field is accurate. And you know what? If anyone has an issue with that, I don't know, man. Too fucking bad. Make your own video on this subject, I guess. So for the first inaccuracy in Madden '05, we have newcomers to this series, the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers had primarily featured the same field design since 1998, but with 2005 being their 10th season in the NFL, they saw a couple of end zone updates throughout the season, actually, it looks like, with one being a cool little 10-year anniversary logo in the end zone. But unfortunately, Madden '05 stuck with the same field design that the Panthers have been rocking for several years. So, despite this being the 10-year anniversary for the team, they had no updates to be seen in Madden '05. Now, this one is rough, guys. This one is rough. I was really hoping that EA would have the Bengals field updated with the leaping Bengal logo at midfield. But it's the B letter mark with Bengal stripes logo, which they hadn't even used as a midfield logo before and didn't until later seasons. And that's actually the one that's featured now as their midfield logo. So I'm not sure where EA was coming from here, but they certainly predicted the future in that aspect of the Bengals field. The end zones also got an updated look that more resembles those late 90s, early 2000s end zones. But here we see Madden '05 has the previous season's end zone design. So the end zone's got the previous season's design, but midfield didn't. I'm really sad about that. I'm sorry, Bengals fans. Hopefully Madden '06 will be your year. But you know whose year it wasn't, though? If you guessed the Browns, you're absolutely correct. The Browns, with this entry, makes them a perfect 5 for 5 in this series. I'm terribly sorry, Browns fans, but anyways, here we see Madden '05 has the accurate field for the 2003 season, but the Browns, being the indecisive Browns that they were at the time, of course, updated the end zones again for the 2004 season. And EA was probably just working with what they had, but the Browns, in a classic case of Cleveland Browns bullshit, go 5 for 5 in this inaccurate fields for Madden video. Newcomers to this series, the Denver Broncos have been rocking a no logo at midfield look for the past few seasons and decided to change it up in 2004 and bring back the Bronco logo at midfield. But of course, EA didn't get to make that update for Madden '05. I'm also noticing that the real life 2004 Broncos field appeared to have the word marks filled in orange, and it looks like Madden '05 has those that Broncos word mark filled in whites with an orange outline. So that's another glaring difference that I'm noticing here between the two. I'm gonna see if I can find a clip of a Broncos home game from 2004. Let's pull that bad boy up here. All right, yeah, looks like we've got that Bronco logo at midfield. Whoa, whoa, wait, hold up. What's happening here? Oh, the wide receiver pass goes for a big gain. Holy shit. Okay, I see you, 2004 Falcons. And I'm going to skip ahead here, and it looks like that those end zones do in fact have the filled in orange lettering on the that Broncos word mark. So the Broncos definitely did not catch a break with their Madden '05 field, seeing as how they did have the midfield logo IRL as well as a different end zone look. Another one that's really upsetting to me is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, this was also their 10th NFL season, and they made it well more well known than the Panthers did. They had a whole ass 10-year anniversary logo at midfield all season long, and even updated the end zones too. But EA, of course, features the same field that they had been rocking for the last several seasons in this iteration of Madden. Man, pull up that screenshot again. You know how badass that would have been to have that field in this game? You know what? Let me find a clip of this field in the flesh. Yeah, check that shit out. It's a little fuzzy from the quality, but man, if only that field was featured in Madden '05. And we see the Chiefs again in back-to-back years. This time they replaced the Chiefs logo in the end zone with the interlocking KC in 2004. Instead, Madden 05 has the 2003 accurate field featured, but unfortunately, that field only lasted one season, and because of that, the Chiefs find themselves on this list again. Here's another one I had to do some extra sleuthing for since Gridiron Database does not have any records of fields for the Minnesota Vikings from about 2000 to 2008. Anyways, the field here in Madden 05 is nothing spectacular. It's the same look that the Vikings have been rocking since the 90s. I'm sure any football or Madden fan from this time period is very familiar with this field look. But 2005 saw a new end zone look. This was the first year that I noticed they had the, I want to say cursive, but I know that's not cursive. It's a fancier word mark nonetheless. And to be as thorough as possible, I did go through a few other games from the 2004 season and noticed that at the beginning of the season, they had used a different midfield logo. It wasn't that traditional Viking logo we're accustomed to being there. But here we see they've got a cursive V as the midfield logo, and holy fuck, this footage is so bad. I wish I could have found something higher quality. I'm so sorry, y'all. Now, the time frame for this guess that I have makes sense, and since the turf looks different between the two clips I've shown, my guess is they went with the cursive V midfield logo while the MLB season was still going on, since they would have still been sharing the Metrodome with the Twins at this point in time. And then when the baseball season wrapped up, they switched to the Viking logo in midfield and probably switched turfs too. I'm not sure, just a guess. The turf does look different in the two games that I've shown here, but that could just be a difference in the quality of video too. I'm not sure. And last but not least, for Madden 05, we've got the Pittsburgh Steelers again in what is an odd little discrepancy here. So in this iteration of Madden, we see the no midfield logo look, as well as the Pittsburgh word mark in the east end zone. Or no, sorry, the west end zone that we saw in the 2003 IRL season. But the other end zone has the diagonal stripes. Now, is this accurate to the real life field in 2004? Let's take a look here. And the answer is no, but it is close. It is very close. The Pittsburgh watermark that we see in the real life field is the common word mark that we usually see from Pittsburgh, which is the yellow letters, black outline, and Madden 05 has those flipped black letters, yellow outline that the previous season had seen. So very interesting here. We get a little bit of both the 2003 and 2004 field from Pittsburgh in Madden 05. All right, folks, let's recap. Madden 01 features inaccurate fields for Arizona, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, the New York Jets, and San Francisco. Moving over to Madden 02, we've got Arizona, Baltimore, Cincy, and Cleveland returning, along with newcomers Pittsburgh. And transitioning over to Madden 03. Madden 03 has everyone I just said in Madden 02, along with newcomers Detroit Lions and the Houston Texans. And Madden 04 has the largest list on this video. We see newcomers to the list: Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, and Kansas City. And finally, let's transition to the last Madden featured in this video, and Baltimore mercifully makes the cuts to be removed from this list. But we see Cleveland and Cincy here for all 5 games. I forgot to mention that earlier, that Cincy was 5 for 5. I honestly kind of forgot that they were on the Madden 01 list. I was thinking their first appearance on this list was 02. But nonetheless, sorry Bengals fans, Cincy does go 5 for 5 here. But Madden 05 does see the addition of Carolina, Denver, Jacksonville, and Minnesota to this list. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this lengthy-ass video. If you want to watch me go over some other inaccuracies like this one in other sports games, or maybe a different inaccurate list in Madden, let me know in the comments. I had a ton of fun putting this video together. I'm definitely going to make an effort to do 7th Gen Madden games coming up soon. If this gets some good traction, though. So if you want to see that, give me a like, drop a comment, whatever your heart desires. But seriously, thanks again for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video.